Welcome back to another edition of Doorway to the Paintings, and I got a really nice painting here to show you, one that I really like a lot. A lot of people might think, well, it's not very realistic, it's not very well defined, the lines aren't very straight and crisp, but to me that's part of the charm. I really like this painting. Speaking of charm, there's something very charming about this painting, and when I read the small little story that explains the painting in a little bit, the word charming is in there, so I'll show you that connection soon. Fairy tale time, storybook time once again. Kind of a dark, grim fairy tale, so to speak. Kind of in the same genre of Jack the Giant Killer or something like that. But yeah, this is one of my favorites, and I hope you enjoy looking at it with me. So let's gear up and get into it. Well, here it is. I really like this painting. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, because other people might want it to look a little bit more realistic or like a comic book, but it's so charming. I wanted it to look like this. Some of my paintings I like to look realistic with Impressionism mixed in there. Other paintings like this, just mostly Impressionism. Kind of reminds me of storybooks from the past. So here, you see this charming fellow here in this very charming castle. Isn't that a castle that you just like to visit if you didn't see who might be in it? Well, here's the part I was telling you about, the word charming. The cannibal giant of charming castle. Do not let its charm lure you in. You may never be seen again. Well, that's the story. Yeah, this is really one of my favorite paintings. Basically a map, kind of a fun storybook type map. Things don't look very realistic, gives it some charm. Bear country, beware of the bears. Got your forest. Over here you got a representation of a lake. Swim at your own risk, because there's a giant fish in there and maybe a sea monster, you never know. Then you got your happy little village here with the cottages, houses, whatever you want to call them. Represents a guy out there working with his axe. Got a lot of style and character. A lot of style and character. I really like this. Is one of my favorite paintings. Really is. North, south, east, west. I really like this painting. It's a painting that stimulates the imagination. I can really go deep with this. My inspirations behind this painting were quite a few. Jack and the Beanstalk, Jack the Giant Killer, and you got this Cyclops giant here, and the cannibal giant of charming castle. I created this about 6 years ago, maybe 5 or 6. And the whole idea behind it, or at least one of the ideas, besides Jack the Giant Killer and Jack and the Beanstalk, I thought about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Remember part 1 where they went to the farmhouse? Everything looked normal on the outside, kind of a nice farmhouse, nice blue sky outside with fluffy white clouds, and everything seemed Okay, well, I exaggerated it here. I made the sky look extra blue and the clouds fluffy. And then you have a castle, very enticing. So the idea is they go to the castle because it's luring them in. It's got a charm to it. And this cannibal giant monster here, this Cyclops, is waiting inside. Similar to Leatherface. Zoom on him a little bit. Kind of zoom in and yeah, actually he doesn't look that terrifying or that bad. It's just the Cyclops eye. And things are deceiving here. They lull people into a unprepared state where they just let their guard down, and that's when he comes out. The castle, I just wanted it to be simple. I wanted everything in this painting to be simple and charming. Nothing too detailed or intricate or overdone. Just something the average person can relate to and just have a charm to it that would be deceptive but fun. It's very fun. But the story is that people are lured into this charming castle because of its charm, and then he's waiting inside. There's a lot to this painting. A lot of areas, but everything is still simple. I like the paths, the trails. Got all these different paths that can take you to one place or the other. Coming up through here. We got this kind of a stone wall. Bear country would be here and over here because of the arrow pointing across the path. Again, I like this. I like this here. Not only does it explain, give you in a nutshell sense, explain the story, but I like the pattern here. Just the way it all looks. Looks almost like gold in a way. I kind of made it the color gold, even though it's not that bright. And I like to decorate this painting. See how I put the giant vines here with leaves all throughout the painting. Goes all along here and all the way around the painting. All the way up. Yeah, it comes back down to the giant's hand. The giant actually covers the trail with his hand. There's a lot of symbolism in this painting too, where he covers it with his hand. In other words, if you cross this point, he's got you in his grasp. And definitely if you go in to the castle, it's a representation of the giant that's in there. This is only one depiction of the cannibal giant of Charming Castle. I'd like to do another one in the future with a different take on him. I like this take, but with my characters I like to depict them in different ways and see which one I like the best. But I really like this one a lot, and it's fun. It's fun to invent and experiment with these characters. As far as the castle, it's pretty simple. Got 3 windows. Kind of forms like a triangle, pyramid type, and you have your basic large door type drawbridge type door here. It's very basic. I wanted it to be just very, very simple. Got this big bird flying here, and the vest of the giant's green, and the shirt's black. I just wanted to give them some basic colors here. And the eye. Yeah, he's hungry. He kind of looks charming, except for this eye here. Looks a little creepy, but he's mildly smiling there. But I think because he's ready for dinner or lunch. I guess it depends on what time of day it is in this pleasant little village and pleasant little area. Some of these cottages look very similar, but there's some that stand out, like the blue here, the red, the purple. This guy must live in one of these places. I'd imagine he is out there working, probably chopping some wood. Better be careful because of the bear country, though. Has to be aware of that. This is just one of those paintings I like so much that I wouldn't be surprised if I did another episode about it in the future. I really like it a lot. And as far as inspiration, going back to that, Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, especially that first one where you saw the house and it just looked normal, and then outside it was a beautiful sunny day, and they didn't expect anything like that to happen when they went there. And this here is kind of the fun storybook, bedtime story, charming version, rather than the dark and gritty and disturbing version. In the future, I might make a more darker, scarier version of this character in this castle, but I'm not sure yet, but I probably will. Just don't know. I also got another couple ideas in my mind for future paintings, but I got so many paintings that I've already done. I painted hundreds. I got burned out, so I'm not painting right now, but there's so many other paintings that I could show first. But gee, I really might paint another version of this, just make it scarier and darker. But I like this charming style. I want my show to be, yes, a little spooky, a little scary, but really want to have fun with it, be entertaining. Not really the disturbing type of scary show, but the fun, entertaining type of delicious scary that I miss. And I know when I was a kid, I was a big Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan, and you know, I kind of developed later where I liked more of the story. When I looked at a movie or watched a movie, I was more interested in the story, character, and what everything meant, and if it entertained me. That was the main thing, just wanting to be entertained instead of the gore and just being shocked. I like the entertaining, fun type of scary genre. That's one of the reasons I bring these shows to you. It's fun and scary rather than just scary and disturbing. Although the cannibal giant idea is pretty disturbing, but it goes back to stories thousands of years ago, and then of course hundreds of years ago with Jack the Giant Killer. Just want to get another good look at him. He must be very, very tall. He could be one of those giants that instead of being 8 or 9 feet tall like Gramus, this one might be 18 feet tall or 20. Like the I don't know, I forgot the name of the giant in Jack the Giant Killer. You know, one of the first giants he killed, he dug a pit for him and he blew the horn and the giant ran after him and he fell into the pit. Might have been Qumran if I remember the story right. I'd have to read it again, but might be his height. But my giant, this cannibal giant, is smarter than that, so he might be a little harder to take out. But yeah, you got the kind of the little green hills here. Makes it look even more charming with grass, and he keeps it nice and splendid looking just to lure people in. But well, I hope you enjoyed this bedtime story. hope you like this painting. I enjoyed being here with you, and the plan is to make another video soon and be back soon. So take care, everybody. Don't have any nightmares about him, and good night.